Welcome back to Orbital Airsoft. Been a while. Had a Milsim event, Operation Overwatch down in Immokalee, however it's pronounced, run by Doomsday Airsoft. Pretty sweet stuff went on down there. Had a lot of vehicles running around, helicopters, Humvees, tanks, stuff like that. And this is my backup gun, the second airsoft gun I actually ever got. It's a G&G combat machine, and I've had it for a while, and I haven't done anything about it to say about it because I actually kind of messed it up pretty bad a while back and had to have it fixed. So I finally got it back, took it with me in Operation Overwatch, ran it, and to be honest, it runs better than my krytac, which I don't really like to say because, you know, $300 on a krytac, but this thing, it performs better. But it has had some modifications, and I want to go over those real quick and talk about them. First thing is the external stuff. I painted it, obviously. So as you can see, a VFC stock right there, painted with green and not dark earth, not tan, but dark taupe. Yeah, home improvement stores, so weird names of colors. Well, I guess that's not a weird one, but Magpul AFG, this little Bravo well grip thing, painted the other, you know, pistol grip, painted my dust cover, my Angel Custom Angel Wing thing, you know, the thingy for the magazine release. God, words are not helping me today. Magpul rail covers, the XTMs, love them. And then of course the suppressor, which I also painted to look like a green version of space. But on the inside of this, the reason it actually outperforms my krytac is a combination of a madbull, their black tight bore inner barrels at 6.03, and a retro Arms CNC M4 rotary Hopup. Have to admit that thing is amazing. I went into chrono my gun at the beginning of the Milsim game, and as soon as I started firing, the guy was just looking at the chrono going, holy crap. And for a second I thought maybe, you know, since I just got it fixed, I thought maybe they did something and it was shooting too hot for the game. It turns out it wasn't shooting too hot. It was just so consistent with FPS that he couldn't understand how it was getting the consistency it was. And when I say consistency, I don't mean it was bouncing like, you know, 5 FPS here and there. I mean like it was consistently the exact same feet per second every single time. They chronoed my gun in at 385 feet per second, and that was they said it, you know, went maybe 1 FPS up and down, and that was about it. So from 384 to 386 feet per second, that's a pretty tight margin. There's not a lot of change in that. That's pretty good. Whereas my krytac, when I chronoed in for some reason, somehow chronoed hot. I had to do a spring change, and it was still chronoing hot, which I didn't understand. So I went back on a whim with the krytac and chronoed it, and krytac's over there, if you can see it. Chronoed that on a whim with my suppressor off, and somehow managed to drop 40 FPS. Don't know how, don't know why. It wasn't a power-up suppressor or anything like that. I'm guessing there might be some kind of weird like physics thing going on with air in the tube of the suppressor, not changing the FPS, but maybe tricking the chrono into thinking the FPS is higher than it is. So I'm not sure what happened with that, but this gun, honestly, I ran this the whole entirety of the last day of the op, just because I hadn't used it yet, and I was like, you know what, I better pull this thing out. You know, it was pretty consistent, you know, so I popped a battery in it and started running it, and this thing's damn accurate. Like, I have to admit, I started doing just test shots on the back of our FOB, just firing off at a pole, and my range was better than my krytac. My groupings were tight. I'm using 3/2s, so I didn't have too much change because of wind. And once I got that Hopup dialed in, it was near perfect. And honestly, just because of the way it was shooting, I took this thing and just ran with it. And it's a little bit smaller than my krytac, so and it's definitely lighter because it's a combat machine R8L, so it's polymer plastic instead of full metal. So that was nice to not have to lug something around that was weighing me down. But I mean, I would turn corners with this thing with zero hesitation and just pop, pop, pop. I had no question about whether or not my shots were hitting, and I just saw people start yelling hit and was like, screw this. Started breaching rooms and just went with it. Because you know what? When you have a gun that you know is working and you trust, it's awesome. And as much as I trust the krytac, the thing still, it's longer than this by at least 8 inches. It's heavier, and I mean, it's a krytac, so if it fails, you feel pretty annoyed. Whereas with this, this is a combat machine that I had just a few parts put in internally, and if it fails, then I don't really feel too bad about it. But now I'm going to go get it fully upgraded, new gears, shim it, do whole overhaul on the motor, everything I can, maybe R-hop it. So once I get all that done, I'll do a new test of it and hopefully put it back on this channel. So that's all, folks.